What is going on, my Masketeers? Welcome back to another episode of The Mask, and we are here to talk about Disney's latest release, which is Cruella, based off the villain of Disney's animated classic 101 Dalmatians. So, Cruella is essentially the origin story of that character, starring Emma Stone and Emma Thompson. Estella is essentially a young and gifted girl who's determined to make a name for herself in the fashion world. After a series of events, she ends up becoming an orphan and living on the streets. There she befriends two thieves where they grow up in the mean streets of London in the 1970s. But she's always had a drive and a passion for fashion. And she just so happens to eventually begin working for the Baroness, who is played by Emma Thompson. I believe her name is Von Hellman. Yeah, her name is Von Hellman. And through working for her, she again begins to pursue her passion, and she gets to design, and she begins to see all the possibilities of her talents. Within the narrative, there's like a lot of twists and turns and a few surprises in terms of how she became an orphan, her link or her connection to the Baroness, and all of that unfolds throughout the movie. So, how did I feel about the movie itself? I'm going to be honest with you. This is just another cash grab from the almighty mouse. Did this movie need to exist? Hell no. Did I enjoy the movie? Hell no. I would say for me, the movie was way too long. Just first, right off the bat, the movie in and of itself is way too long. It's longer than it needs to be. There's nothing actually memorable in this movie. There was nothing which I saw or which I watched which made me say, okay, cool. Like, absolutely nothing in this movie. And the thing which I really hate, okay, hate's a strong word. Let me not go with hate. But one of my pet peeves, right, is where because we know how a character turns out for some reason, whenever they do the origin of their character, I don't know why they choose to add all of the iconic things that made the character the character. Because for me, it's like, if this is your origin, you shouldn't have all of these elements in you beforehand, because that's something that develops over time. But these elements are so iconic, people then decide that, oh, you know what? They have to have these elements even from way before. And it's like, that's not really how life works. These things you kind of just develop and give you their origins. They always tie in elements from what makes them iconic in the future as we know them. And I just find that just so irritating, to be honest. Cruella is a nickname that her mother gave her when she was acting bad or acting out. Like, Estella, don't be cruel. Don't be Cruella. And I was like, okay, fair enough. It's a bit weird that your mother would give you that nickname of Cruella, but whatever, innit, is what it is. The hair, to be honest with you, I originally thought, right, I thought that Cruella's hair was like a fashion choice. I thought like she dyed her hair that way. Well, in like the cartoon and stuff. I didn't actually think like her natural hair was white and black, like just strapped down the middle. But in this movie, apparently it is like she's born with it. But anyway, it's not really a big deal to me. Cool. The storyline in and of itself, this is what I feel. I feel like this movie, right, was a whole different movie beforehand. I feel like this movie, the elements in this movie were there before, and then Disney just said, throw a character that we know and we'll greenlight it, because there's so much in this movie which I feel is disconnected, is disjointed. I feel like there's certain parts where this could have easily been an origin story for a superhero. It really felt at times like I'm watching a superhero movie. It had to remind itself that, oh wait, this is a Cruella de Vil movie, so like we have to really stick with the fashion. And that's the funny thing. There was hardly any fashion. It was more like the fashion were like set pieces to antics or to capers kind of thing. But there was never really a fashion driven narrative there. As well, something which I found was quite interesting was that because we know how she turns out, a lot of the choices that they made in this movie to me didn't really make that much sense, because you know her ending. So why is it that they implement a lot of things in this movie where it doesn't really follow through. In the movie, she has the elements of what we know her for in the future, but then rather than her fully moving in that truth, she'll kind of not do it. It's a bit confusing because like they really want you to like her. They really want you to kind of look at her as an anti-hero kind of thing. We know how she ends up. So why are they basically giving us the elements that we know her for, but then she doesn't actually act on those elements? When you think she's done it, you found out she didn't do it. But the truth of the matter is, we know that this character would do something like that. So why doesn't she just do it? But they're trying so hard for us to really believe that she is like misunderstood, but we should like her in a sense. Very much like what they did with Angelina Jolie's Maleficent. But with that character, I felt like there was more to play with only because you didn't actually know her backstory. And even with how they recontextualized the character, they gave you a whole new story with that. Even the ending is totally different to the original movie. Whereas with this one, it doesn't do that. It literally just gives you her origin story, but it still keeps, or as far as I can tell, it still has all of the elements to lead into 101 Dalmatians. So it's just like, okay, yeah, I was just bored that most of the movie, to be honest with you. I was just bored most of the movie. And the one thing which I also didn't like is I don't like her names. Like the names that she gave herself, even how she comes to get the name Cruella de Vil. It was like the Han Solo all over again. Like we don't need to know how Han Solo got his name. It's part of the mystery. And to be honest with you, I never even really thought of how she got her name. So because of that, don't ruin it. Don't give us something that we never asked for. Nobody asked to know how she got her name. So if you're going to implement that, then make that shit cool. Don't do it and then just make it dead. I didn't need to know where she got her names from. So when you find out that Cruella's a name that her mother gave as a nickname, okay. But then even when you find out how she got the name DeVille, I was just like, really? That's where she got it from? Okay. Because I always liked her name. I thought her name was very cool and stylish, and like again, I did a lot of quote unquote different meanings behind her name where it's open for interpretation. That's the mystery behind it. But they remove the mystery and they give you just a very flat and bland thing. All in all, I would say that Cruella de Vil, or Cruella, this movie was just a cash grab. It was Disney, the almighty mouse, just looking to get quick money because there is no creativity left in Hollywood, it would appear. If it's not a franchise or well-known character, they don't make nothing anymore. Everything is just a rehash and a repeat and a rebrand. But this is just a quick cash grab. To be honest with you, Emma Stone and Emma Thompson were the best parts of this movie. Everything what they did was top notch. They made the movie what it was, and they did the best with what they had. But a lot of stuff in there just fell flat. A lot of characters were just useless. And a lot of storylines and plot elements, they didn't work throughout like the whole movie. They didn't work. I watched that movie and I was literally bored throughout all of it. There were some parts where I was like, okay, cool, where is this going? And then it didn't go anywhere. And some elements which they kind of added, which I thought, okay, cool, that might explain something. But then towards the end, they just kind of did a U-turn on that. And I was like, okay, cool. This is kind of dread. It's kind of dry. It's kind of boring. So my rating for this movie, I will give it a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10. It wasn't it. It was not it. Those are my thoughts. Guys, we have come to the end of the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Just help the channel grow. I appreciate it so much. And I will see you next time, my Masketeers. Peace.